Campaign Document Number 2, published and distributed by the Democratic Conservative Executive Committee, 1875, the Clinton Riot. A true statement showing who originated it, a premeditated massacre of the whites. Testimony of white and colored witnesses under oath. General J. Z. George, Chairman, Democratic and Conservative Executive Committee. At your request, we have received the statement of many persons who witnessed the disturbance at Clinton on the 4th instance, which we now hand to you. We think the following general history of the matter is fairly sustained by these statements. An invitation was extended to all persons to attend the Republican meeting and barbecue at Clinton. There was to be a joint discussion. Accordingly, perhaps 60 or 75 white men went to the grounds. There were from 1,000 to 1,200 Negro men present. As many perhaps as 200 or 300 went there armed with pistols. There were probably 20 or 30 white men with pistols on their persons, not more than 15 of whom participated in the fighting. Many of the Negroes went to Clinton anticipating a fight and armed for it, and seized as a pretext for the affray a quarrel between a white man and a Negro. There is nothing in the evidence to show that there was a drunken man, white or colored, on the grounds. The inception of the quarrel is enveloped in obscurity, but in light of the subsequent action of the whites, we do not regard the merits of the altercation as important. At all events, there was an altercation between a white man and a colored man. The former left the Negro, joined a small party of white men a distance of about 100 yards from the speaker's stand, followed by the colored man. This party of whites consisted at first of 4 or 5, soon increased to about 11, was slightly scattered in small groups. Some colored man cried, "A fight," and called to the colored men to come on. Immediately orders were given to rally. The drums were beaten, the cry of "Kill the white men" was raised, and a large mass of Negroes armed with pistols and knives and brandishing clubs pressed down on the party of whites. The crowd of Negroes numbered probably as many as 300. The whites, about 11 in number, gave way and retreated about 40 yards along a little branch, asking the Negroes to stand back and keep the peace, and saying they desired no difficulty. The Negroes in their front pressed on, crying, "Kill them!" After retreating this distance, another crowd of Negroes came down on them, coming from an opposite direction. After the altercation commenced and before the firing began, the whites made every effort to avoid a fight. About this time, a pistol in the hands of Mr. Thompson, a white man, was discharged accidentally, the ball going in the ground at his feet. A shot was next fired by a colored man, which struck young Mr. Wharton. The whites stopped and fired vigorously. 2 Negroes were killed on the spot, and 4 or 5 wounded, and the crowd in front of the whites retreated. The white men then commenced leaving the ground in small parties. The Negroes were rallied by one of their number, who told them not to let the white men escape, and the pursuit began. Separate crowds of Negroes pursuing in different directions the retreating groups of whites. Sively and Thompson, white, were overtaken, killed, and their bodies mutilated. Charles Chilton was killed in his own yard. Captain White was captured, shot, stabbed, and beaten, and left for dead. Rice, Wells, Wharton, Robinson, all white, and perhaps several others, were wounded. It was subsequently reported that the Negroes threatened to attack the town, and consequently during Saturday night, between 400 and 500 armed white men were concentrated in Clinton, from Vicksburg, Jackson, and the county for the protection of the town. During Saturday night and Sunday morning, perhaps 7 or 8 Negroes, who were supposed to be the leaders in the affray, were killed by the whites, who were indignant at the murder and mutilation of their white friends. Early Sunday morning, most of the white men returned to their homes, a few remaining at the request of the mayor during Sunday night as a police force. By Monday morning, as the mayor of Clinton states, the town and neighborhood were quiet and peace was restored. In justice to the memory of Martin Sively, we deem it our duty to state that he had no connection with the commencement of the disturbance. His conduct was beyond reproach. He was an estimable gentleman and a sober and exemplary citizen. We make this statement to correct an unjust rumor that he was the originator of the difficulty. E W Cabinis, S M Shelton, Frank Johnston. Music by composer Scott Buckley, song Snowfall. License Creative Commons BY 3.0 at creativecommons.org. Music powered by Breaking Copyright at breakingcopyright.com.